Hi everyone, and welcome back to Keep the Peace for another Ninjago January 2024 set review. This time it's actually 3 sets in one review, which are set number 71801, Kai's Rising Dragon Strike with 24 pieces, set number 71802, Nia's Rising Dragon Strike with 26 pieces, and finally set number 71803, Arin's Rising Dragon Strike with 27 pieces. All of these goes for $9.99 in dollars or euros and $8.99 in pounds. We got these sets sent to us from the LEGO Ambassador Network, but I'll give you my honest thoughts and opinions, and I also want to show you how those functions work. But before we get into it, I already mentioned in the unboxing, but these have really interesting packaging with like very weird shape. I like how they have like artwork on the front instead of your normal product picture. And then on the back you have the more classic product pictures and kind of some pictures showing how the function is supposed to work. But with that out of the way, let's get into the review. Since we're talking about 3 individual sets here, I wanted to start by showing you each of these sets and what you get in them. In Nia's Rising Dragon Strike, you of course get the Dragon Strike build for Nia, the Nia minifigure, and as a villain, a Wolf Mask Claw Warrior. In Arin's Rising Dragon Strike, you of course get his dragon build as well as the Arin minifigure, and a Wolf Mask Warrior here with the sword. And finally, Kai's Rising Dragon Strike with his respective dragon, the Kai minifigure, and a Wolf Mask Guard. Let's start by looking at the minifigure in these sets. Of course, you get the ninja that the set is named after in each set, so we have from left to right here Arin, Nia, and Kai. All of them have this new dual molded hood piece, which personally I'm a big fan of this mold. And what's special in these gimmick type sets here is that all of them have dual molding with the ninja's color and gold. Kai and Nia's hood here are exclusive to these sets right now. Arin's also comes in the Arin's Battle Mech 4+ set. All of these ninja also get the classic ZX armor in gold, as well as 1 golden katana. Other than that, these minifigures reuse torso, legs and heads from other sets. With Arin, they're reusing his design from last year's Dragons Rising sets, and it features a dragon head here on the front of his torso, as well as a Ninjago A and 1 orange arm, and it's kind of like a hoodie style design as we're used to with Arin. Kai and Nia reuse the prints from their mech suits from this wave. The heads are the same as the 2023 Dragons Rising sets, and the torso designs of the mech suits look like there's like armor plating with these nice golden outlines over a more traditional ninja gi. Nia has blue armor over a gunmetal suit with a nice bit of maroon here in the belt, and Kai wears bright red over dark red. If we rotate the minifigures around, you can see that in the back they have the katana held onto by the armor piece. And to get a better look at all of the prints, we can remove some of the accessories. Here you can also see that I put their alternate faces in the front. Arin only has 1 face though. When we take a look at the back now, you can see all the nice back printing a lot better. For Arin, it continues the dragon design and also features his name in Ninjago. Kai and Nia also have their name in Ninjago with this like stylized font here at the top, and it continues that armor design from the front quite nicely. Each of these sets also get 1 villain minifigure too. I lined them up here in the order of which set they come in, corresponding to the respective ninja earlier, and I gave them all their accessories because otherwise they are very similar. We have the Wolf Mask Warrior with the dual molded mask piece with dark azure eyes and teeth, and the shoulder armor for Arin's set. He comes with this nice curved sword. We also have the Wolf Mask Claw Warrior in the Nia set. This one of course has the claws and the same wolf mask and armor piece. And finally we have the Wolf Mask Guard with this blue hood and a classic LEGO crossbow. If we remove the accessories from these minifigure, we basically have the same torso, head and legs 3 times, with the mask print on the head, and these blue and purple details here on the torso, with these little blades, and it features the word wolf in Ninjago. If we rotate them to the back, you can see they all have this wolf symbol, and an extra face with glowing teeth and eyes here on the back. First, I want to show you the overall build of these Dragon Strike models here on Nia's. This is basically all built around this big golden piece here in the middle. This holds on to the minifigure, connects to the tail as the trigger in the back and the dragon head in the front. And if you look at it here from the bottom, you can see it's a bit hollow. It doesn't have really any anti-studs here. In the front of the piece, we have this new dragon head mold attached, which I think looks quite nice in my opinion. And in the back we have this new long tail piece that is kind of the trigger or activator for the function later. In the middle we have some simple pieces like slopes and clips that hold on to the wings. These new wing pieces are very nice. They're dual molded with a transparent color and a solid color here, blue of course. And they have two bar connections here in the back, which I think is quite cool. That way you can use them at different angles. As well as a smaller bar connection here in the front. In Nia's case we have this golden claw piece here that you can pose. You can of course also pose the wings since they're on a bar, so you can move them up and down. When you push on that headpiece here in the back, it opens the mouth of the dragon, revealing that there's a dragon energy core inside. I think that's a really cool idea since it keeps the dragon cores relevant from last year, and also adds the nice transparent eyes whenever the mouth is closed. You can tilt the dragon forward a bit to have it roll out. Nia's here has an orange dragon core, Kai gets a blue one, and Arin gets a green dragon core. None of these are new colors, all of them were featured in last year's spinners as well, but it's nice to be able to get these here in a different set. Here in the back of the build you have this little panel and you can basically just slide in your ninja minifigure. It's super easy, the figure's not attached by any studs, but it doesn't fall out easily or anything. Kai's Dragon Strike is pretty much just a recolor of Nia's with these nice red and orange wings and the new red dragon headpiece here. Arin's on the other hand has a little bit of variation. His dragon has different claws here on the wings, which use two smaller pieces, and the wing piece, which are yellow and trans yellow here, are also attached at a different angle with the second bar connection I showed you earlier. This kind of gives it a different shaping overall with those forward reaching wings. Now let's move on to the actual functions of these. I think a lot of the promotional material didn't really do a good job explaining what exactly these do, so I hope I can clarify and show it off here. Basically, these dragons have this activator in the tail here in the back, and what you want to do is you have them on preferably a very flat surface, and then you basically just punch on that tail with your fist. This will push the dragon forward, detaching the tail and having it slide across the floor. So without further ado, let's do it! And these can go really fast. I was quite surprised. You don't even have to punch on there super hard to have them slide, but punching them harder will most of the time shoot them forward with more force. A quick look here how this works. There in the back we have this little hook where the tail kind of basically goes into. The tail has this bar connection and it's kind of just like hooked in there. And since that hook is like at an angle, pushing it down will give the dragon itself some forward trajectory while the tail gets pushed out of the hook and stays on the ground. The instructions also show a secondary way to use them. So what you want to do for this one is you place your finger here in this gap of the wing and then you punch on the back. And that should theoretically get your dragon to spin. So let's try that. Put the finger there and punch on the back. And sometimes it can be a bit finicky since sometimes the spinner hits against my finger if that's still there. And maybe it's easier with smaller hand, but if you get it to work, it does work quite well. And I think it's really cool that these can work as spinners in a way as well. What I did notice is that because of the other wing placement on Arin's, it's a lot harder to pull off the spinning trick with his. But of course you can just reorient the wings with their other bar connection, put them in the same position as Kai's or Nia's, and then it should work all the same. Since these sets do come with villains, we of course have to use the function to run them over. And that works really great. They have quite some power and they can really send the villains flying. And we can of course also try to do that with the spinning function, which can be a bit harder since it's very hard to aim it. I also wanted to show you what happens when we have the mouth open with the dragon core. So if we shoot it, you can't really see it here because it's so fast, but the dragon core will kind of roll out of the mouth. I'll do it a bit slower here so you can see it better. And you can kind of imagine that it's the dragon shooting some kind of energy bolt or something. I think that's very fun as well. I also wanted to take a quick moment to look at these two new pieces, the dragon head and this tail or activator. While these are highly specialized pieces for these gimmick sets, I do really appreciate that they have some usable connection points for mocking that aren't really used in the set necessarily. The dragon head, for example, has a bar connection here on the back, and the tail piece has bar connection on both sides, even though only one is used for the function. Just to show you some ideas how they can be used outside of these sets, I built some custom heads for my fusion dragon from Hands of Time with these dragon head pieces, and I think they look quite cool. Josh also had the idea to use these tail pieces as some kind of armor skirt for a mech, so I added them to my crystallized Samurai X mech here. Just some ideas how you can use these pieces, and I can't wait to see these in mocks going forward. We get very little spare pieces in these sets. In Arin's we get one of these golden horns here, and in Nia's we get this claw piece. These don't have any stickers, and in my case they came in plastic bags as opposed to most of the other sets in this wave that had paper bags. Instruction wise, we have these little pamphlets. You can just unfold them, they have the instructions on them, and they show you how the functions are supposed to work. Alright, it's time to give you my final thoughts and opinions about these sets. These are basically your classic Ninjago gimmick set. We get some kind of gimmick set every year, and this is basically the newest iteration of those. And I'm very happy that they're experimenting with something new. These aren't some kind of spinner or flyer, they're a really new concept where they like slide across the floor when you punch on the back. We haven't seen anything like that, and I like experimentation. I will say that all of them are pretty much the same. You kind of get the same experience out of all of them. Not like last year's spinner where they did different tricks. Like only Arin has some variation with the wing, and you can reorient the wings in whatever way you want. So in my personal opinion, you get the full experience out of getting one of these. And then you can choose basically by what's your favorite ninja, what's your favorite color. Minifigure wise, the only thing that's really special about these figures is the golden hoods. Otherwise, you get the same figures as in other sets. And I think the golden hoods look really good on Kai and Nia because they have gold in their color scheme for their suits. For Arin, I'm not the biggest fan of the golden hood look personally. I would have liked his horns or something that's more special to him, or maybe a different suit that features gold as well. But what I do think is really cool is that you get villain minifigures in these too. So you basically get 2 minifigures in these gimmick sets. And that's not always the case. We had that with the arcade pods, for example, or with the Versus set. But usually when it's like spinners or flyers, there's only 1 minifigure in these. And I do think it's great that we get 2 in these for $10. They even went back from the $10.99 the gimmick sets cost last year. So I think the price is definitely fair. The only thing you maybe want to consider is like for the same price you can get the J Mech Battle Pack, which has 4 minifigures and the mech. And I think that might be a better deal if you only want to get 1 small set. But I do think that price is overall fair. And I did have a lot of fun playing around with the function. And I think some of the new pieces like those wings or the dragon head are really cool and very useful for some fun mocks. And I hope to see a lot of cool usage of those pieces in the future. I hope you all enjoyed my review. I want to thank the LAN once again for sending us these sets. And I hope you'll check out the next review here on Keep the Peace. See ya!